So today I was journaling, and something that I've been thinking about this week is doing a life edit, a life audit, some things that I just really need to get together, and I'm sharing it with the hopes of, encouraging someone else. Maybe you're going through some of the same things I'm going through, or maybe it might even get you to think a little bit deeper. Rock with me. I hope all of y'all are doing well mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Welcome back to the One More Net Pod. I'm Amberp, woman of faith, and I am here to encourage you in your everyday life and your faith walk with the Lord. I'm a journaler. This is what I do. Journaling has saved my life. I've done vlogs about it. Just check the channel. It's all there, right? And this morning, as I was journaling, one thing that popped up alongside of me working on doing a life audit, putting certain things down, looking at what I need to add, what I need to take away. And one of those things I really need to work on reframing is the way that I work. If you're not familiar with me, my testimony, something that I struggled with was idolatry, and my work was my everything. It was a big old fat idol, and no ma'am, no way, no how. That is not the way of the kingdom. So, thinking about different ways on how I'm going to reframe the way that I work. So, I'll share some of those things. Stop packing Saturdays. At the end of the year, I've talked about it several times, and I'm going to keep encouraging this y'all to read this book because it was such a mind blower to me. At the end of 2024, I am recording this on June 22nd, 2025. And it's, you know what? That's interesting too. It's halfway through the year. It is halfway through the year already. Holy crap. Anywho, I read The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry in December of 2024. And that really, I got a lot of healthy conviction out of that book. Slows the pace of kingdom. Why are we always in a hurry? Why are we always rushing? We are honestly not even on our time. We're on God's time, honoring the Sabbath. And something that I really want to start implementing moving forward is the Sabbath, and not in a legalistic Pharisee way. Just on the seventh day, God rested. Now, hear me clear. I understand this is not realistic for a lot of people to, not work on Saturdays. I know. I'm a beauty professional, okay? So to all my girlies out there that are killing it in salon, maybe you're a makeup artist, that's when you're having, your brides and weddings. Trust me, I get it. And what I would say is it doesn't have to be on Saturday. Pick a day that works best for you, and that's your Sabbath day. For me personally, I want to do Saturdays whenever I do not have any clients. So stop packing my Saturdays. And on Saturdays that I don't have anything, leave it open. Close it down. Don't try to put anything else in there. Honor it. The reason being is because I've struggled with rest. I've talked about this as well. And I realized that a lot of my spiraling is due to me being exhausted and tired. That is honestly what it boils down to. Me being exhausted and tired. This is something that has been popping up a lot lately. So much to the point where my husband the other day, he came home, and I don't know, child, I was I was going on about something, and he looks at me and he says, "Girl, go lay down." And I high key felt a little offended. Then I had to do a check-in with myself. I said, "Okay, God, I think he's right. I think I just need to go lay down." Why is it that you think that God called us to rest on the seventh day? He knows that we cannot keep going and going and going. And if you're anything like me, someone who was just going and going all the time on a constant basis, then guess what? When that behind finally sat down, and it's worse when God sits you down. That's no fun. Sit yourself down before the Lord sits you down, because when the Lord sits you down, he gonna do it in a way to make sure that, hey, It's so funny because I swear it's been quiet in this house all day long. And then as soon as I press record, as soon as I press record, as soon as I press record, it's okay. We're going to keep rolling. We're going to keep moving. Where was I? I don't know. Lost a thought. What was it? Prep brain. I'm hungry. Yeah, okay, resting. Go lay down. Every time that I think about over the course of the past month that I have just been beside myself spiraling, I take a nap, I wake up, and I'm good. He designed us, okay? He is the ultimate creator. So therefore, the ultimate creator, he knows the directions, right? He is the manufacturer. So for all his creations, he knows that they need to lay down. He knows that they need to sleep, they need to reset, because if you're not sleeping, you're not resetting, you're not good. You're just not. I don't care how strong you are. I don't care if you're a super mom. Eventually, baby, what goes up must come down. Okay? So get somewhere and lay down. Resting is a struggle for me, but again, going back to the Ruthless Elimination, that was the book that opened my eyes about, okay, got it. Got it, got it, got it. Life and death are in the power of the tongue. Be mindful of the words that you're speaking. Something I have been saying over the past couple of weeks is I don't have a job, and that is false. I do have a job. I do have a job. Work just looks different from what I'm used to. I have conditioned and trained myself to think that real work is when I'm in salon doing somebody's hair, when I'm in the studio doing someone's makeup. That's what I have trained myself. And so now I'm realizing that, yes, that was a part of my journey. Yes, that was a part of my life. Yes, that was what, 12, 11 years of my life. Right now, that season has closed, and understand that, yes, that's work, but guess what? There's other work too. Editing, Amber popping in with an update and a testimony. This was recorded on June 22nd, 2025. I am uploading this on August 31st, 2025. At this moment, I had parted ways with Sephora. I had to unexpectedly do this. I didn't see it coming. However, God works all things out for the good. I went 2 months without having a job. So from June 15th all the way through August 16th. And while I understand there are people who have gone way longer than that, I have so much empathy. I get it. I must say, during this 2 months was the decline of my mental health. Things got way worse than what I had ever expected. And so now I'm happy to report that I do have a job, and I actually am back in salon in a different way. I am working at a blowout bar, so I am blowing out hair, styling hair, and doing makeup. The Lord will truly give you the desires of your heart, but what I've learned through this process is that He's going to do it in a way that He knows is best. It's very different for me. I had to drop my ego because I've never worked at a salon at this capacity before. What I mean is, I'm used to being an independent contractor. So I started off renting a chair when I first got into doing hair and makeup, and then 8 years after that, transitioned into having my own studio, doing my own thing. So with that came a lot of pride, a lot of arrogance, a lot of ego. However, right now, during this time in my life, that is exactly what I need. It gives me the opportunity to take a little bit of the pressure off of me grinding and counting how many heads do I have to touch, how many faces do I have to touch to pay my bills. There's absolutely nothing wrong with needing to or wanting to go work for someone, go clock in while you are repairing your business. Maybe you need to take a step back from business. Maybe you need to rebuild. Maybe you were starting a new business. There's nothing wrong with that. Honestly, that is a smart way to go about it. So, yeah, y'all, that's the testimony. You have a home. It doesn't matter if you own it or not. Your home, that's your work. Are you a wife? You married? That's your work. Me, when I go and I'm doing glam for competitions, that's work. The Lord says, whatever you do it unto the Lord. Whatever you do. And so I have to, again, reframe my mindset on what is work. And then also this right here that I'm doing, this is work. And then it dawned on me, okay, I am now working for the Lord. The Lord is my boss. I'm doing what He says. And honestly, That is how our lives should be structured. But we tend to get in our own way. As I was journaling, something else that I started thinking about was me and how one of my biggest struggles these days is me seeing. It's one thing when you're actually going through it. You can't see it when you're going through it. But once you start coming out of it, Joyce Meyer says it, you live life forward, but you understand it backwards. I'm coming out of it and I'm realizing one of my biggest struggles is that I'm in the messy middle right now. And it's so funny because the messy middle is a term that I heard a few weeks ago, and it definitely, tickled my ears a little bit. I was intrigued, and as I was watching whatever the video was, I thought, okay, that makes sense, but it didn't dawn on me that that's where I'm at right now. And here's what I mean. Last year, when the Lord came and got me, I said some big prayers. I prayed to the Lord to renew my heart, renew my mind, to remove anything and anyone out of the way that's not in alignment with Him, and to make my desires His. Well, let me tell you, He did that. He did it. And it sounds beautiful, right? But when He starts doing it, and you start to realize that, oh, your ways really ain't my ways. That verse in the Bible is real. All the verses in the Bible are real, by the way. That one in particular just started hitting hard, like real hard. And I realized, oh snap, your ways really aren't my ways. And I told you to do what you do. And now I have to get on board with what it is that you were saying. And that can sometimes be a little bit of a wrestle because you've had your eyes set on this one thing. You have this plan, right? And as you should, God likes order. He likes structure. There's evidence of this all up and through the Bible. And so with Him liking order and structure, and He has a plan. So yes, make your plans, because we need to be walking, we need to be work, you don't eat. But what you have to understand is, as you're working and you're going down your path, God 9 times out of 10 is going to put you on a detour. He's going to take you somewhere else. And when you're not prepared for that, or if you're not aware of that, or when you realize, oh, we ain't even on the same page, we're in 2 totally separate books. We're in separate books, and you realize, oh, snap, everything that you've been doing, everything that you had been planning to do, not been doing, everything that you've been planning to do, that ain't in His plan. So now you got to throw your plans away. That's a hard thing to work through. It is. But as I fast forward now, I realize that one of my biggest struggles is due to me being in that messy middle phase. I can see clearly that I am no longer the person that I used to be. I am no longer the person that I used to be. And praise God. Praise God for the renewing of the heart, the mind, the soul, sanctification. All of those things are necessary. The dying to self and putting things to death, which is not easy either. Can't do that on my own. I have to have the Lord's strength and His help to help me do those things. But realizing you are not the same person anymore is quite daunting. It is quite daunting. So much to the point where I've realized recently I've been trying to figure out exactly, okay, what do I like? I'm not sure what I like anymore, because my desires have been turned towards what God desires for me, and that's not a bad thing. So I've been doing a lot of exploring and thinking about trying new things and quitting some things. And here's the thing, there's seasons for a reason. I think a lot of the times why some people struggle too is because they be trying to hold on to stuff that just simply no longer serves them anymore. And especially when you are no longer that person anymore, it ain't gonna work. and you will stay stuck where you are. You're going to stay spiraling. You're going to stay with the spirit of double mindedness. You're going to keep fighting and wrestling until you release. Because here's the thing, when you wrestle with God, you never win. He going to let you wrestle. He is. He is. He gonna let you wrestle. There gonna be some days where you think you out there, you putting up a good fight, and then boom, he gets you in the hip, and now you out here limping like Jacob. So there's that. And it's so funny because we do some twisted things as humans. We do some twisted things. We can know that something is either not good for us. We can know that something no longer serves us. But because that thing is familiar to us, we'll still go back to it. Although we know it doesn't even make us happy, it doesn't serve us, or we're not supposed to be doing it. But only because it's familiar, we'll keep trying to run back to it. You'll keep trying to run back to Egypt. That is twisted. And y'all know what the definition of insanity is, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and getting the same result. So I'm like, Lord, me and these twisted ways, we got to depart. We've got to depart. And so now that I'm aware of the renewing, and now that I can actually see the changes in me, it does make it a little bit easier for me to be like, girl, walk away, close it, shut it down. But that's where that messy middle comes in, because I can now visibly see that I am not the person that I used to be, but I'm not quite sure who, what, when, where, how, where we going. Well, like where are we landing at? So I'm just kind of here in the middle. I know I don't need to go back this way. I'm going to keep my eyes headed towards this way. I just don't know what this way is. So now here I am in this space of navigating the messy middle. It is scary. It is scary. And as we progress in life, as I realize I am closer to 40 than I am 30, and I'm not upset about that, but I can say this, it added some stress to me, because in my mind I've got it, oh my gosh, I'll be 37 this year, I'm getting closer to 40, and this is the most unstable my life has ever been. This is not a good sign. How am I going to be somebody's mama twice if I don't have X, Y, and Z? I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, you have the one thing that you need. The main thing that you need is God. That is your source. So it don't matter where you at, don't matter how old you are, as long as God is your source, no matter if you're in the beginning, the messy middle, whatever it is, he got you. He has you. And I'm realizing that this entire season that I'm in right now, I am seeing my lesson so clear, crystal clear, because the Lord's going to allow us to bruise our knees, get a few wounds along the way. And I definitely have been hard on myself for my wounds and making mistakes, but we have to understand that's the process. That's the process. And God is not mad at our process. He's definitely not going to be mad at our process when we are staying locked in and connected with him. He knows we're going to mess up. You have to know you're going to mess up. You're not perfect. And it just goes to show how twisted we are. We are very well aware of the fact that we are not perfect, but yet when we make mistakes, we are so hard on ourselves. Those mistakes are helping us. They refine us. And I think for me, something that I had been really struggling with too is, oh my goodness, I have to start all the way over. I'm not starting all the way over. I already started. You get what I'm saying? If you have already started, regardless if it's going well, regardless if you had a speed bump in the road, regardless if you had a failure, you're not starting all over again. You're just picking up the pieces and you keep going. You just keep going until you figure it out. And as you keep going, when you figure it out, the beautiful thing about this time on the journey is I'm locked in with God this go around. Like I said, he's the CEO of all of this, everything. So therefore, I am leaning on him for his direction. I am leaning on him to give me the wisdom that I need in order to do the things that he is telling me that I need to do. So therefore, I really don't have anything to be afraid of as I enter into the book of Joshua now. Something that I highlighted at the end of Numbers, where Moses is talking to the Israelites and, prepping Joshua for what he's about to take on. He's like, these people was raggedy. They ain't gonna listen to you. Just all of that. Hold on. Let me pull up my Bible. In Deuteronomy 31, and this is Joshua to succeed Moses. The Lord will deliver them over to you, and you must do them and you must do to them exactly as I have commanded. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or be terrified of them, for it is the Lord your God who goes with you. He will never leave you or forsake you. Okay? Then Moses called for Joshua and said to him in the presence of all Israel, be strong and courageous. All right. Then we go down a little bit more again, and it says, he will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid or discouraged. And something that I'm learning in Bible is when there's repetition, pay attention to that. I immediately pick that up, and that's Deuteronomy 31. And then as we go over to Joshua chapter 1, I will never leave you or forsake you. Be strong and courageous. All right. Again, above all, be strong and very courageous. Okay. Have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. So we have nothing to be afraid of, for the Lord our God will be with you wherever you go. So whoever is out there confused, whoever is out there, you feel like you're toiling, you feel like you're squandering your time, you don't know what's happening, you're in the messy middle, things are just very different, or they're not exactly what you expected them to be, understand that you do not need to be discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever. Heavy on that word. The Lord your God is with you wherever you go. All right. So I hope that helped somebody. And listen, we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. I know right now in the world and the news and all the things, y'all stay prayed up, read your Bible, know the signs, pay attention, but still make sure that you are using your time wisely. That was such a good message. I watched 28:19 a lot. I think what Pastor Philip is doing is amazing. He's a man of God. He's preaching the word. And one of the sermons was 2 weeks ago, I believe, he was talking about that. It's like, hey, pay attention to the signs, and how are you using your time wisely? If Jesus were to come back right now and he saw what you were doing in that moment, would he be pleased? Because he's coming back. He's coming. He's on the way. So make sure that whatever you do, you're doing it unto the Lord. And sometimes we have to do things scared. That's okay. But keep in mind, God is with you wherever you go. All right, y'all. So thank you so much for listening. And do not forget to cast one more net.